We are wrestling.
Olympic hero Kurt Angle, and you're listening to the We Are Wrestling Podcast. We Are Wrestling Podcast.
Let's flip and go.
You're watching We Are Wrestling.
I'm the host with the most.
You are by far the least intelligent.
What is going on? We are Wrestling Maniacs. Ben here, one half of the We Are Wrestling podcast.
We Are Wrestling Podcast.
Make sure to subscribe, baby.
We are wrestling.
What is up? We are Wrestling Maniacs out there worldwide. I'm the host with the most, Mr. We Are Wrestling himself, the best one, Donnie, here with...
What is going on? We are Wrestling Maniacs worldwide. Ben here, one half of the We Are Wrestling podcast, and today we have a very, very special episode for you guys, and it's going to be really exciting. But before we get into all those shenanigans, Don, take it away, buddy.
That's right. We have a pretty stacked episode this week for the podcast. And before we dive into all of the good news, this is coming out pretty early on Saturday morning because, of course, we have WWE Crown Jewel, which Ben will be doing a live watch along for over on the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel. Unfortunately, I will be at Rhode Island Comic-Con, so I will not be able to, attend the Crown Jewel watch along. But before we dive into the topics and all the good stuff this week, if you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already, and you're listening to the podcast, give us a 5-star review, not just any review, a best one review, and download the episode. But if you haven't checked out the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel yet already, and you're not a part of the thousands of subscribers, we recommend you to hit that subscribe button now, turn on the post notifications, videos be coming out of nowhere like an RKO, and of course you already know, the grind is real.
Yeah, boy.
And we are less than 100 subscribers away from reaching 5K. Once we get there, we will be dropping the part 2 to MJF Try Not to Laugh compilation.
Yeah, dude. This is going to be so exciting.
That's right. And this week over on the We Are Wrestling, YouTube channel, we've had, some videos come out. We had a new episode of Hot Takes talking about, MLW's top star over there, Alex Hammerstone. He requested his release from over there. And we even give our Crown Jewel predictions yesterday as well. So if you guys haven't checked those videos out, highly recommend it. So Ben, how's your week been?
Fucking busy. I just started a job, so I've been doing training all week, and it's gotten a lot colder, so I feel like, with all the, the shivers and such, I feel like it's just made me more tired, so I'm just fucking tired this week, but it hasn't been a bad one. It's been pretty fulfilling, it's been really productive, I should say, so, can't really complain. How was your week, bud?
Pretty good, man. I made a new friend.
Hell yeah!
Here he is.
Cut out Jay White. Let's go. The switchblade, or should we say the switchboard?
The switchboard, man.
Jay
I got
White.
this past weekend at Mohegan Sun for AEW Collision.
Fuck yeah, man. Hope you enjoyed the show.
I did. It was actually, a pretty fun weekend. I actually did bump into Phil while I was there at Mohegan. Me and, the fiance, we went. And we actually were up in the nosebleeds. We paid for the cheapest tickets, which honestly, the vlog is absolutely lit. So hopefully that, will be coming out to the channel in a couple weeks. But honestly, it was a really good time. I got to see MJF versus Kenny Omega. I even, was able to get a Bullet Club Gold shirt. Maybe MJF will accept me more if I wear this.
Maybe. Maybe.
So, yeah, honestly, it was a great time.
Good shit, man. I love that.
Absolutely. And I do want to give all the We Are Wrestling Maniacs heads up. Rhode Island Comic-Con, as the podcast does come out. I will be there with my buddy Cam. So if you do see me, you can come say what's up. Next Saturday in Long Island, New York, I will be at the Big Event New York. and it's going to be a stacked show. I met a lot
Yeah,
of you
fuck you,
guys at the
bud.
last one in March, so I will be there, next Saturday as well. And Ben is very, very
Yeah,
jealous.
just because, you guys see us doing this podcast does not mean we're friends. It does not mean we're friends by any
You want to
means.
tell them why you have
No,
this
I don't
little
want to
vendetta
fucking
with me?
No, I don't want to fucking tell them why. Honestly, no, I don't, because I'm pissed.
I'm going to tell you guys why. I'm going to be meeting Paul London, Ben's favorite wrestler.
Yeah, my
Saturday.
favorite fucking cruiserweight.
Thanks to my
of all
buddy
time,
Captain's
man.
Corner.
One of the most under fucking rated superstars in fucking history, dude. That dude could literally do it all, work with literally whoever, and put on a fucking hell of a match no matter what it was, and was completely deserving of so much more. So, yeah, pretty fucking pissed because he just started taking bookings again. So I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Why couldn't you do this last year? You could have been at the Classic, man. But I hope he's there for Wrestling Classic 4. So, I hope you enjoy your time, but fuck you.
It is a real possibility, too, because Captain's Corner and Zombie Hideout, they do this, convention called the Wrestling Classic. We are
Yeah, man.
wrestling. We're proud vendors, and, we work with them. And hopefully, Paul London, I think it's a real possibility that we can get him there. We need to voice
yeah.
our opinions to Captain's Corner. Let's get Paul London to Springfield, Mass.
Spam them. We need him.
But you're going to hate
or
me
I'll
even
cry.
more when I tell you this.
Oh,
and I
come
didn't
on.
tell you this. So
Come on. What?
here's who I'm going to be meeting next Saturday. Ready for
Yeah.
this?
Okay.
Fitterman Sports, they usually like to bring in, a couple WWE superstars. Last time I got the opportunity to meet Cody Rhodes, Charlotte Flair, and Edge.
Yeah.
And they're only bringing in one superstar this year for this big event in New York.
Just rip the fucking Band-Aid off.
All right, I'm going to rip it off, and please don't kill me. I am going to be meeting Mommy Rhea Ripley.
All right. No. All right. Do the fucking podcast yourself. Fuck you. No. That's what we draw the line, bitch. That's what we draw the line. Fuck you.
I wanted to wait until we did the podcast, guys, to tell Ben the news. She is the headliner for this event. Ben, I'm so sorry I waited until the podcast to tell you this. Don't worry, I'll tell her you said hi. Oh, Ben's not happy with me, guys. He's really
Dude,
not.
I don't know if I can do this right now. I don't know if I can do this because now I'm fucking fuming. I was pissed at first, but now I'm fucking fuming.
It's okay, Ben. Friday, November 17th, we have the opportunity to see Dirty Dango and Sonny Kiss.
If you somehow get a spare fucking autograph from Paul London or Rhea Ripley, I call dibs. I call fucking dibs. I call dibs.
Well,
if you get shout outs from anybody, I want one. Fuck. I'm
worry,
so
Ben.
mad.
While I'm there,
so
I'll be
mad.
thinking about you. I'll even bring one of these with me, of you.
Can you? Can you?
I
It's
should
like, hey,
look
can you
into
sign
that.
this? Can you sign this? Like, who is it? Your biggest fan. Your biggest fan. I guarantee you, your biggest fan.
I feel like if you ever met Paul London, you'd be like, what's his name? Kevin from like the Jellyfish fan club. You'd be like SpongeBob, how he was to Kevin. Hi, Kevin.
Yeah, I know.
Hi, Paul London.
See, with Rhea, I have a million things I could talk to her about, because she's also lives in the music universe as well. So, and we're very on point with the same music artist. So if I ever had the chance to meet Rhea Ripley, I know for a fact Buddy Murphy in trouble.
Whoa. Well, he's already in
I'm gonna
trouble
be-
with Dirty Dom, man. But what is your highlight of the week in the wrestling world?
Definitely not this. Definitely not this.
Let's go.
Definitely not fucking this. That's for sure. This is probably like the lowest of low of my week now. Like, you just fucked my day up so bad, dude. Like Paul London, I was just getting over. Like, I was
know.
just getting over.
Because you knew
and
that
then you
for
say
a
Rhea, I'm
while.
like, dude, you know what? Fuck you. Rhea Ripley, you know what? Fuck you. Like, I'm even more mad
Did
about
you watch
it than
the
Edge.
documentary, The Wrestler, on Netflix?
Like the wrestler documentary, or
the one with the OVW.
no, I have not yet. No.
Oh, okay. So yeah, because I'm meeting somebody from there too. Hollywood Haley J as well.
Cool.
There's a lot of people I'll be meeting. But to all the We Are Wrestling
Yeah.
Maniacs, if you do see me at Rhode Island Comic Con or the big event in New York, don't hesitate. Come say what's up. I'll be vlogging both of these, events. And if you want to take a picture or, talk to me or whatever.
Punch him in the fucking face for me, please do.
Now, don't do that.
No,
So,
do
Ben,
that. Do it in my name.
I know.
Assault him.
I know, we just, ripped the Band-Aid off. But what's your highlight of the week? Let's put the Band-Aid back on.
I don't even know if I can fucking think straight right now. I'm like literally so mad about it.
All right, okay. While you think straight, I'll
What's
give
your
my
fucking
highlight of the
Go
week.
ahead.
I have two. The first one, because obviously the NBA just started back up last week, and I'm a Brooklyn Nets fan, and I do follow basketball outside of wrestling. And one of my highlight of the weeks was this player from the Philadelphia 76ers, Joel Embiid, got a $35,000 fine for doing the DX suck it after getting fouled.
He got fined for that
He
shit?
got fined $35K. Did you see it or no?
No, I didn't. I didn't
Hold
see
on
that
one
he got
second.
fined. Okay.
Which, shout out to, the We Are Wrestling, Instagram. We've been, posting a lot of wrestling news and stuff. So we actually did post it to the page. Here it is.
And he got fined $35,000. He got fucking fined $35,000 for that. What was it? Because it's like a trademark motion or something?
Triple H and WWE didn't even care. It's because I don't know. The NBA,
Oh, it's
dude,
'cause
like when it comes
it's
to
the
like
dick
little art,
thing,
like
yeah.
you can literally say shut up to somebody and you get
Yeah.
fined like 10,000. It's crazy.
Yeah, no. And of course, for a
Well,
crotch chop.
WWE obviously took advantage of this, and Triple H actually tweeted at Joel Embiid and said, WrestleMania, we're going to be in Philadelphia for 40, and we allow you to do suck it. So if you want to come, you can.
That's fucking awesome.
So that's my first one. And then the second one, it's not an AEW one, surprisingly, even though I did love the MJF stuff that happened this past Wednesday, but I always love the MJF shit.
Same.
This week, I got to say this. It's got to be the Miz's face turn on Miz
with
TV
Gunther.
with Gunter.
Yeah, that's the one thing I saw that I was actually super hyped about because Miz has been a fucking heel for the last few years. I think a face turn is in his cards
Feels like
now.
it's been forever. I'm so happy with this because
Yeah.
finally we're going to get a serious Miz, because that's the thing about him. Like, a lot of people talk about how he's one of the best heels in sports entertainment, but a lot of people forget that he's also a very good babyface as well. And he can get
think the
over
dude-
just as well.
I think the dude just is in need of a gimmick change. I think that's
He
it.
is.
Like he's really in need of a character change. But
But it works out because the Miz made that IC championship so prestigious.
oh, he did.
And having Gunter, the longest reigning IC champion, pretty much like humiliating him, we're finally getting that serious side of the Miz. And I kind of like how we're getting all of these different superstars trying to go after Gunter in his championship.
I
makes
agree.
makes the mid-card scene on Raw very exciting.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Honestly, I kind of got to go with my highlight, and it's a very small one, but I've been waiting to see something like this. The more brutality side of Cody Rhodes and giving JD McDonough a beautiful fucking crossroads right on the fucking table. I think that this is something that I feel like Cody's been missing, is some kind of like aggressive behavior. Just because Cody teeters on the fence of a very well played goody two shoes, and it could get stale. So seeing a little bit more of like an aggressive side is definitely welcoming. So to see that more serious side and to see him build towards the Royal Rumble and Survivor Series, I'm stoked. So I kind of have to go with that. That's my highlight.
I just realized something, Ben.
What up?
We didn't give our prediction on Damian Priest versus Cody Rhodes.
Well, we are Wrestling
Wow, I am
Maniacs
such a
Worldwide.
bad producer.
Well, we are Wrestling Maniacs Worldwide.
Might
You
as
were
well
about to
do it
give
here
our,
on the podcast,
because
right?
we're talking about it right now, and it was my highlight. So, Crown Jewel, Cody Rhodes versus JD McDonough. Wait, we did give our prediction on it.
No, it's Cody
Damian
Rhodes versus
Priest.
Damian Priest.
Yeah. So as for that, I'm gonna go with Cody. Cody, 100%. I feel like he's the more seasoned superstar. I feel like he needs a good dub to catapult him in the right direction going towards the Rumble to get some more momentum back. And what better way to throw off the main player in the Judgment Day and the leader, even though technically the leader is Rhea Ripley, but still. I think
honestly,
that Cody.
I'm gonna also go with Cody Rhodes on this. And guy, I can't believe I forgot that. That's wow. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
JD McDonough was fucking Sami Zayn. I forgot. Whoopsies.
But now, with that being said, let's dive into the weekly recap topics for the We Are Wrestling Podcast 81. This past Monday on Raw, we saw the main roster debut of the Creed brothers. What was your thoughts on this team and what's their ceiling?
For right now, it's too early to tell what their ceiling is because they just had their first official main event roster match. To me right now, and be honest, they are just another Alpha Academy Part 2 / fucking the world's greatest tag team. That's really it. That's all I can really base right now because they're a very generic tag team in my opinion, where I feel like Alpha Academy has a little bit more personality. It's too soon to tell what their ceiling is. Is there potential? Absolutely. But I can't really elaborate.
Did you watch
on
any
much
of their
more.
work past in NXT?
Very
or
briefly.
no?
Very briefly. Like I said, I feel like it's just kind of too early to tell because the real impact is main roster and they just started. So all I can really say is they're going in the right direction. They have some pretty good influences there. They have a very interesting finisher, and I'm excited to see what goes forward because the tag team division is kind of lacking. So to get another good tag team, that's always a dub.
So, good first impression, you'd say.
Yeah, for sure.
Honestly, I gotta say this. I'm very excited about the Creed brothers, being called up to Raw because I do, pay attention to the highlights of NXT. So
Yeah.
I know who these guys are, Julius and Brutus. I think that, they are legitimate brothers, which I do like a lot. They
Oh,
were
they
a
are.
part of the Diamond Mines
Okay.
with Malcolm Bivens and Roderick Strong at the time.
Oh, I know who Roderick Strong is.
Before,
Okay.
they both moved on to, AEW. I think the Creed brothers, they have a lot of potential. They were, former NXT tag team champions, and I just love the intensity they bring. And I really hope with the main roster, they do become, a top tag team and they do win the championships at some point. I think that, the finisher, I love the finisher of Julius holding, the wrestler up on the shoulders, and then, Brutus goes up and he does this cannonball type of thing. It just reminds me of that old school finisher because LOD, one of my favorite
Yeah.
old school tag teams of all time, they would do
RIP
the
to both.
clothesline. So I really just enjoy them. It seems like they're a very old school tag team, and I really hope on the main roster they're able to show more personality.
See, I
Which
think
obviously
the
we
biggest.
haven't got that yet.
So I think the biggest flop with them so far on the main roster, there's been a massive flop, and I'm going to tell you what it is. Their massive flop was having them go against the Alpha Academy right off the bat. I feel like
Yes.
they should have gone with a different tag team with different styles, showcase that style, and then had Alpha Academy come out and issue a challenge because they're basically a fucking Alpha Academy Part 2, and you could have built a storyline off of that. You could have. And I feel like that would have been the goal because Alpha Academy is super fucking established and kind of over with the crowd. So for them to just pick up a clean win right off the bat when you could have done way more interesting things there, I feel like that's the only flop, but I'm not putting that on their performance.
Yeah, no, I totally
Just the
agree with
bookie.
that. I think it was too soon for them to go against an established, tag team that's already over.
Especially in the same style.
Yeah, exactly. And I think one thing that's missing about this, I hated that it was all on social media. You had, the Alpha Academy issuing an open challenge, and then Julius, accepts the challenge for, the Creed brothers. I wish
Yeah.
we got maybe a vignette build up for these guys or
Some shit.
something.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Or
feel
you
like
could have had the Alpha Academy in a tag match against somebody else and then had them attack them afterwards, and that could create a match for a couple weeks on Raw. I don't know. I feel like they rushed into this, and
with
I
Alpha
feel like
Academy,
you
hell
need to
yeah.
have the debut. You need to have a solid debut.
And the fucking match itself was good. It's just
Fantastic.
It could have been somewhere else. It could have been built. It could have been a lot more drawn out, and you could have cooked these guys a little bit and had them, become a dominant tag team, and then getting the attention of the Alpha Academy for taking, basically royalties on what they already do. So it's at that point, it's who's the better team in the same exact style that we're going for. So I would rather have them go against a completely different kind of tag team with a different kind of style first, and then mended with the fucking the Alpha Academy. But that's just me. So
No, I totally agree. Isn't there on Raw, in the draft, Don't they have like Jinder Mahal and like Veer Mahan and that other guy? They could
Yeah,
have
they
done
could have
something
started
with
off
them.
there, and they would have gotten some fucking TV time too. But who are we? Just fans.
Exactly. We are wrestling maniacs.
Yeah,
But I think they had a good first impression,
they
though.
did.
But
Good first
I would just
impression.
wish we got, a little bit more. But now moving on to our next weekly recap. This past Tuesday, MJF has officially passed Kenny Omega to become the longest reigning All Elite Wrestling World Champion. What's your thoughts on this? And down the line, who should be the one to defeat MJF for his championship?
I'm not going to go there. That I'm not going to answer for you. But I will say that I am super stoked. It's always great to see young talent really bet on themselves, crush everything they do, and it's not every day that you get somebody as stacked as MJF who literally has it all. It's not every day that something like that happens. And to have him be the longest reigning fucking AEW world champion is massive. It's fucking massive. So I'm stoked for his future. I'm stoked for where he's going to go from here, and I have a feeling of where he's going to go from here. But that's a discussion for a little bit more towards the new year. I
January
think
1st, the bidding war.
Yeah, but the bidding war of 2024, his last scheduled match technically is that fucking pay-per-view that they basically made
World's
for
End.
him. Yeah, so, and I think that's why they're calling it World's End, is because that's it. I think, anyways. But as to who I think should throw him off, I won't answer that just because there's more to the story still. And I
Well, they're
can't
all
really
over the
give that
place
answer.
too with it. So
Yeah,
I
and we're gonna get
understand.
there, and we're gonna get there in this podcast too. But yeah, like I
we
said,
are.
the sky's the limit for the dude. Like there's so many things that he can do. There's so many things still left to do. There's still so many avenues he could take. MJF can just do it all. So I'm not surprised, and I'm super pumped.
Absolutely. And I'm actually really happy that, Kenny Omega passed the torch to MJF, because this past Saturday in Mohegan Sun, AEW Collision, I liked how, they did this. I know it was on free television. I keep hearing it, because obviously Kenny Omega versus MJF should be a main event on the pay-per-view. That definitely could sell. But I do like how Kenny Omega was able to defend his, longest reigning streak against MJF, because obviously after Collision, they didn't have another show, scheduled until Dynamite on Wednesday.
Yeah,
So I kind of liked how they did that in that regards. Plus, right now MJF, man, is doing some of the best work in his career. And I think that
Yeah.
he is a generational talent. And he's going
sure.
to be a top guy in this industry for the next 10
No matter
to
where he
15
goes.
years.
No matter
wherever
where
he
he
is.
goes. Yep, he'll never be a mid-carder ever again.
Now, who I think should be MJF for the championship, there is, the bidding war, and something that did happen, which I noticed. AEW made the announcement for Wembley Stadium for 2024, and on the poster, MJF is not there
Well, yeah. I mean,
due to the
it's
bidding war. And
yeah.
I think if there's somebody that should take the title off of MJF, it's got to be Adam Cole, only because of the whole storyline that they've built for the past year with these guys.
Buddy, I'm going to tell you this right now. That's one dream you might not get realized, because Adam's on the shelf for a while. And I don't think, and he's past his fucking MJF's apparent expiration date. So that might not be, that is a fantasy book at this precise moment, but it could change.
It is.
It could change.
And I'm hoping MJF does, re-sign with AEW, but that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. We're going to get there like in January.
we could go on about that shit forever.
But our last, weekly recap thing that we're going to cover on, this week's episode of the podcast. This past Wednesday at AEW Dynamite, we saw Paul White, The Big Show, return and help Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega against the Don Callis family. How do you feel about The Big Show returning to your TV screen, Ben?
I'm bored. I've been bored with The Big Show for years, man. At least over 10 years I've been bored. And he's not The Big Show anymore. And obviously No More BS is obviously a direct shot straight to fucking, WWE, as in, not Big Show anymore.
Come on, that's good marketing, though.
It's good marketing, but it's just,
BS,
another one of
Big
those
Show.
things that strokes Tony's fucking fantastic giant ego. You could have chose somebody better. Like, you could have put over another talent. You could have, had somebody with a little bit more star power that still has star power. You could have gone with somebody who could do a little bit more in the ring than just offer being giant. I think that there's going to be some pretty good spots there. We might see some kind of like nostalgia shit, but I don't see it being miraculous. Like, I wasn't hyped, if that makes any sense. Like, I wasn't hyped to see. I'm like, oh, Big Show, cool. You know, like it wasn't. There was no level of me that was exhilarated by this choice. I feel like he should have hung it up after WWE entirely and just stayed a producer.
You know something? I hate to say this because I love the Big Show.
I
love
loved
Paul
the
White.
Big Show.
And it really sucks to say this, but obviously, you know, we pretty much talk about, you know, pro wrestling. We have to give our honest, you know, thoughts and opinions on this. And
Take it away.
when it comes to the Big Show, it didn't get me excited at all. Like, I knew the reports that Jericho, he filed a trademark for Jericho because that trademark expired from WWE, so he ended up picking that up. And I think that that's like their way of, you know, bringing in, you know, Big Show to AEW. Like, it makes sense because he has the history with Jericho, but I don't know. It's nothing really exciting. Like, it's just, you know, the Big Show. And we know, like, he's had a lot of health issues in his, you know, career. And, you know, now that he's getting older, you know, his body is starting to, you know, pretty much wear and tear because of the amount of bumps, you know, he's taken and, you know, the amount of time he's been, you know, traveling on the road, even though he's got himself in, you know, incredible shape, you know, later in his life. I just think that, like, the Big Show, Paul White, he could be doing more for AEW behind the scenes than, like, on screen. I feel like.
I'm with you.
And, like, I feel like everybody deserves to have that one final match. Everybody deserves to have that. And, like, for me, like, I would love the Big Show to have that in WWE against another giant or somebody.
Here's the thing, man. I'm sorry, but this is going to sound cold, but I'm a fan. And I feel like it needs to be said. I feel like you don't deserve a final match if you can't perform. If you can't perform to some level of degree of what not only what the fans remember, but where you can respect yourself at a respectable level, I feel like you don't deserve it because I felt like Triple H deserved it, but he's physically incapable of doing that.
That's fair.
Big Show has been past his prime for a long time, man. He should have hung it up after WWE. I feel like he should have had a final match years beforehand.
I'll tell you his last feud that I liked and enjoyed, and it was back, I believe, in 2017, Braun Strowman.
That was a good feud. You want to know what my fucking final great Big Show feud was for me? And this is going to sound horrible.
Who?
Kane.
What year is this?
Ruthless Aggression.
You didn't
that
enjoy
long ago.
Damn.
That long ago was the last time I saw Big Show as a legitimate on his A game. Like, yeah, he was in like some of the worst shape of his life. But at the same time, he was entertaining. He fucking went for a big dude.
But you see here, I could see where you're coming from because with the Big Show, the problem with him was he was always a big star. He was always over, but the problem was his booking. Like, 1 month he was a good guy, and then like he would be sidelined for a couple months. He'd come back as a bad guy. And like I've never seen somebody flip-flop more than the Big Show. And
that's what I'm
unfortunately,
saying, man.
It's creative.
And I'm saying, and like I said, the last good feud I feel like he had was with Kane. Like,
I like the Braun Strowman one because he was able to put him over.
Yeah, and I like that. You know, I like the other giants putting other giants over, especially ones that deserve it, like Braun. But at the same time, like the last good feud for me was with Kane because they had just split from being tag team champions. Kane and Big Show were at odds, and Big Show was forced to fucking fight back, and it was great. It was great storytelling because, dude, Kane and Big Show are a way better fucking tag team than Kane and The Undertaker to me. Like, there was so much more chemistry I felt there because it wasn't just relying on this darkness shit, you know? It was different, and I loved that about it because there's two giants, completely different worlds, completely different types of animals, and they killed it, even against each other. So
I also really enjoyed Big Show and Mark Henry, too, in like 2011. I thought they had a really good feud.
I also liked Khali and fucking Big Show in like 07. So I 07, 08 or something like that.
Oh man, what the hell are we doing, man? Like, this is not the getting put over segment, but
yeah.
But honestly, like when it comes to, you know, Paul White, I'm not as excited as other people are. I just hope that, you know, he's happy doing what he's doing, and that's all I can ask for, honestly.
No, 100%. Like, as long as you're happy, cool. But at the same time, man, It's just it was time a long time ago.
But guys, up next, we have our We Are Wrestling weekly news. And of course, the comment of the week. We'll be right back with more We Are Wrestling Podcast 81.
Hey everybody, it's Hall of Famer Devon Dudley here. And when I'm not putting people through tables or testifying, I am listening to one of the greatest podcasts in the world. We Are Wrestling Podcast. Check it out. Testify.
Are you looking for wrestling content? Well, We Are Wrestling provides everything pro wrestling. The best one, Donnie, Gins, and the Load Rager Ben, are wrestling marks like you who love this sport. We Are Wrestling has it all when it comes to wrestling content. We have different podcasts, vlogs, reactions, full wrestling matches, live pay-per-view watch-alongs, interviews, predictions, and so much more. Only on We Are Wrestling. What are you waiting for? Subscribe and become a We Are Wrestling Maniac now. We're back, and every week on the We Are Wrestling Podcast, we do this thing called the Comment of the Week. And if you want to get your comment featured on a future episode of the We Are Wrestling Podcast, all you got to do is go to any of our We Are Wrestling YouTube videos and leave a comment. And this week, the winner is at Darby the Turtle, and he commented this.
Okay.
And this was on the latest episode of Hot Takes, where I talked about Alex Hammerstone, MLW star. He requested his release, and he said this. To me, it's a case of where does he go from here? He had a dominant reign as national open weight title, won the world title, had a crazy run there, and now he's no longer champ. Aside from just trying to run him back to the title again, I don't know what you do with Hammer. Sad that he wasn't granted his release, because apparently with MLW, he asked for his release. And it seems like a lot of talent over there, they always be asking for their releases, and a lot of the times they get them granted. But his contract doesn't expire until the end of 2025, and he just lost the championship after holding it for over 500 days to a new guy, and yeah, he feels like his time is up, and they won't grant him his release.
Oh, I thought Hammerstone was released.
Nope.
Oh.
And that's why the episode of Hot Takes, I had to, be there for my buddy Alex Hammerstone. He actually retweeted on X the episode of Hot Takes, which was very cool.
Hell yeah, man.
And yeah, even Richard Holliday's been trying to, get Alex Hammerstone and the Dynasty all back together, because that's the guy that was with MJF and MLW as the Dynasty.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, my thoughts on, the comment of the week. I know, Ben, you're not really too familiar with Alex Hammerstone.
Unfortunately.
And that's the thing, that's why I feel like MLW, it's just more beneficial if they just, let him go, because he's ready to be on a bigger stage. And that's somebody I feel like, Ben, if you or a lot of the other We Are Wrestling Maniacs out there were able to, see wrestle, I feel like you would be a big fan of his work. I feel like you'd be very behind him. He's one of those, big muscle guys that, moves really well, has a lot of charisma, and definitely a world champion.
Like I said, man, I give anybody a fucking chance. I give anybody a chance, and I will always take a chance on somebody until I can't anymore. So, I mean...
And the reason why, Darby the Turtle, your comment was the comment of the week, because I want to get a hashtag free hammer going all over social media.
Hashtag free hammer,
Free him. But congratulations to Darby the Turtle on the comment of the week. If you want to become a future comment of the week, all you have to do is go to the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel and leave a comment. But now, with that being said, let's dive into the We Are Wrestling weekly news. And the first one we have here, Matt Riddle's first match post WWE has been announced. On March 9th at Big Time Wrestling, Matt Riddle will be wrestling Rob Van Dam for the very first time in his career. What's your thoughts on this dream match?
Yeah, I wonder if they're gonna fucking pause mid fucking match and fucking take a toke of somebody's fucking joint and then fucking go right back into it. You're literally looking at both the biggest stoners in pro wrestling history, other than the Godfather himself. So I mean, I feel like there would always be questions that way. I think it's gonna be a fun match. Matt Riddle can obviously go. RVD obviously shows that he still got it. So I mean, It is a dream match, and they've been talking about it for a while. Like, they've wanted to get together and do something. So the fact that they're finally able
Yeah,
to
RVD,
is
I
great.
believe it was on Cafe de Rene.
Yeah.
He talked about Matt Riddle being one
Yeah.
of his, opponents he wanted to wrestle.
Well, here we go, and we're finally getting it. I feel like that they can mend really well. I feel like they would get along together really well, especially like they have the same taste in women, the same taste in pastimes. Like it makes sense. Like I feel like we're gonna.
Style too.
Bro, I have a feeling that Matt Riddle is going to be AEW bound very soon, along with RVD. So, and I think they might be a tag team. So I could see it. I can see a lot of possibilities.
They're going to go for the trio titles
with Hook,
because Hook's been teaming with RVD.
Well, I mean, hey, with the weed, you need the munchies, and fucking Hook got the fucking chips. He got the chips, boy. So that's what I'm saying. So I mean, it works. But yeah, I'm stoked about it, man.
Honestly, I'm very excited for this. Congratulations to Big Time Wrestling for getting this match.
You caught a massive
Big
dub.
Time Wrestling is one of the most, established independent, wrestling companies out there. Started off in the Northeast, and they've been able to, go all around the U.S. And honestly, to see like Riddle's, first match, post WWE being announced, it's got me really excited because both of these guys, they've been compared to one another, throughout, Riddle's time in WWE. A lot of people would say, oh, this guy reminds me a lot of RVD. And a lot of people would bother RVD and tell him, dude, if there's somebody I would want you to wrestle, man, it's Riddle. Because they're similar when it comes to their personalities. And like you said, the women and, smoking.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like this is going to be a great match, and honestly, this is going to make some buzz in the independent, scene.
Absolutely.
So I do really like that a lot. And honestly, for like Big Time Wrestling, one of, the pioneers in independent wrestling to get this match, fucking awesome.
Hell yeah, man.
But moving on now to our next topic on the We Are Wrestling Weekly News. Eric Bischoff believes WWE doesn't need CM Punk. During his 83 Weeks podcast, he stated this: there's been a whole lot of us where nobody would have ever imagined that certain person would go back or get into a WWE ring ever again, only to be surprised. I'm not saying I'm 100% sure, but my gut tells me no. Mostly because they just don't need him. There's no holes. Where's the holes in the WWE roster right now? Where's the holes in the product? We're getting ready to step into the hottest time of the year. This is wrestling's version of the Super Bowl coming up here over the next month or two, leading up to it. I just don't feel the need for it right now. Their live event business is off the charts. They're selling out 10, 11, 12,000 seat arenas for SmackDown and for Raw. Merchandise is flying off the shelves, so there's no holes in their game right now. It's not going to be that way forever, Maybe somewhere down the line, I see it, but certainly don't see it coming anytime soon. What's your thoughts on Eric Bischoff's, take on WWE not needing CM Punk right now?
He's right. They don't need him, but I'm not saying that I couldn't still see him going there. I couldn't, they don't need him, but they could certainly want him because he is a draw regardless. He has a lot of friends still there. He's already mended a lot of fences. And what better way to stick it to Tony Khan than going back to the place where he got sick in the first place and healing there? That would be a massive, AEW's in real trouble at that point. They're in real trouble at that point. And then if fucking MJF goes, that's it. That's it. You can call that show a fucking wrap. But I will say that I'm super, I can empathize as to why, he feels that way. I can definitely understand why he feels that way. And he's not wrong. There is really no holes in the roster. It's pretty fucking stacked right now. Their premium live events are, like he said, on fire, top notch. We're going into the biggest season of wrestling period, back into the WrestleMania season. So
wrestling right now has got a lot of momentum.
Yeah, especially in WWE, especially with how, established their PLEs are and what the season means. This is the most magical time of the year. This is basically fucking pro wrestling's Christmas season, but it's just long.
Well, also, too, even the live events right now, they've been selling out live events.
I'm fucking saying, dude.
Even though, unfortunately, in Springfield on Sunday, they're not going to be because they took all the headliners off of the show.
Wait, what?
Yeah, so Seth Rollins, he was supposed to come. He's not coming anymore. Cody Rhodes is not coming anymore.
Yeah, they're in Saudi.
Yeah, so
Yeah, they're in
a
Saudi,
lot
man.
of them
Yeah.
are missing out.
So who is going? Do you
The
know?
headliner is Gunter versus Shinsuke versus Ricochet. That's like the only
What?
banger. Everything else is they have like Tiffany Stratton versus Becky Lynch.
Oh, Becky Lynch is gonna be there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And but
Nothing crazy happening.
so no big stars are going. Like none of the Judgment Day. Fucking none of the Bloodline.
Nope.
What the fuck's the point? What's the point? All right.
Even Rhea Ripley was advertised and they pulled her out.
Yeah, because she's gonna be at fucking Saudi. So
And that's why I'm probably not going to the Springfield Live event.
I
this
won't be
year.
going. I won't be going. So fuck it.
So I do got to give my thoughts on, Eric Bischoff's take here. And I feel like out of all of like the legends in the business, Eric Bischoff has a really interesting, approach and opinion when it comes to the business.
I agree.
And one of my favorite, podcasts, 83 Weeks. And honestly, like, definitely really makes a valid point here because right now WWE has a lot of momentum going on. And, they are, establishing their own stars. They're also, bringing back, other guys and girls as well that are making the product well. Triple H is just cooking right now on both, Raw and SmackDown. We got general managers. Wrestling is striving right now. And I understand the risk of bringing CM Punk to, WWE. It's very risky because obviously he doesn't have the brightest past. Especially, his exit in WWE and, all the fights he got into with AEW. And that's why, I'm saying this. TNA wrestling right now has got a lot of momentum. And this is why, like, I want to make this a topic. I am pushing Scott D'Amore and TNA wrestling to bring in CM Punk. Let's, get a better TV deal. Let's, fill up more, seats at TNA shows. And let's pick up that momentum. And I feel like Punk would be the perfect person for them because WWE doesn't need him right now. Through time, I'm sure they're going to.
Yeah.
But I feel like, with TNA, they could definitely use some star power.
Yes.
Our last topic on the We Are Wrestling Weekly News. It's official now. Ric Flair is all elite. They finally dropped the graphic. He's officially a part of them. He signed a multi-year deal. What's your thoughts on AEW actually bringing in the Nature Boy Ric Flair?
I think he might be the first person other than fucking Brody Lee that gets a fucking in memoriam before their fucking time is up. That's what I think. I think he's going to be the first one that gets an in memoriam because this dude should not be anywhere near a fucking camera right now. I'm sorry, but dude, your time was
he's still
over.
in pretty good shape.
That don't mean shit because he's in good physical shape does not mean. But he's he's going to because it's Ric fucking Flair and Ric Flair gets his way, so he's gonna put on the good old diaper and fucking hop in the ring. You already fucking know he's gonna. And honestly, dude, like the Big Show, I'm not fucking stoked because you've just overstayed your welcome at this point. The dude's retired 6 times now. Like, can you just fucking go away? Like, make it a sporadic thing. Do a year deal. I could see. I could be like, all right, I can get behind that because there's, a lot of shit to go with Sting. Maybe some history here. But what do you do after Sting? He was brought back for Sting, and now he signs a multi fucking year deal. Like, are you out of your mind? I'm sorry, but no. That is some Ric Flair thinking. That is senile. That is senile. I'm sorry, but no, dude. I'm not hyped. That's just the dude will do anything to be in front of a camera and to be relevant still. It's just, dude, your time was up fucking 10 years ago. Maybe even longer before that. But here you are, still gracing our screens when nobody fucking asked for it. So you were a legend, and now you're tarnishing your shit. Dude is desperate to stay relevant. It's like you could have just walked away after Shawn Michaels, and your legacy would still very much so be intact. But he has tarnished it time and time again, and especially with the dumb shit he says on fucking social media. That is one grandfather that should not have a fucking phone. I'm sorry. That is one grandfather that should not have a fucking phone. Or choices, for that matter. That dude should be chilling in retirement right now with the fruits of his labor. But instead, he wants to fucking try and... He's gonna shit himself, bro, on camera. He's gonna take one suplex, all you're gonna hear is...
You're gonna get your wish, man.
And he's gonna be like, woo!
Woo!
He's gonna smack that fucking mat so goddamn hard, and he's not gonna move. So
You know,
one wrong move,
I feel like such an asshole.
bro. He's gonna go try and do that shit he used to do, where he used to throw his fucking jacket on the fucking mat and go to fucking do the elbow shit, and he's gonna smack his head and he's gonna die in the ring.
No.
Yeah,
Here's what's gonna happen. Here's what's gonna happen. Yo, this is how like Ric Flair's gonna get exposed for shitting himself. Because Ric Flair, he's gonna take his clothes off, start throwing it on the ring, start doing moves. He's gonna have his fucking tighty whities on. He's gonna have shit stains.
I hate the fact that I am bashing one of the greatest to ever do it, but he asked for it. I'm sorry, but he asked for it.
16-time world champion. Woo!
It's not even 16-time world champion. It's 16 times retired, and he's still fucking here.
I also heard a rumor too that they might be bringing in Hulk Hogan next year. We're going back to TNA 2010.
All right.
Oh shit!
right.
Getting carried away. Oh,
Yeah, Ric Flair, man. I'm done with Ric Flair. I don't think he's great anymore. He ruined it.
Yeah, I don't know. Like with
It was
Ric
just-
Flair, like it's like
Tony's
we've
still
already,
the toy collector.
And speaking of toy, that's what pisses me off too, because AEW Jazzware, I collect a lot of their figures, all right? And they are so behind when it comes to like making the figures and stuff. So now with Ric Flair being signed to an exclusive deal with AEW, that means I'm never going to get any more Ric Flair figures. Sad. And I also find it ironic that in AEW they had Tully Blanchard at one point, and he's not there anymore.
You're sad that you're not getting a toy with the accessory that is a Depend diaper? You're really that sad? You're really that sad? A Depend diaper and a fucking champion purple shirt. That's all you're getting for accessories.
Champion purple shirt. Oh my god, this is bad.
I'm sorry, but he's asking for
Okay.
it.
No, he is asking for it though.
He's
That's the
asking for the
problem.
smoke.
And like, I listened to his interview with Chris Van Vliet, and it was fantastic. And I'm like, I can get behind the Nature Boy, and then this happens.
You thought you could get behind the Nature Boy. He's not
He
the
really
Nature
is
Boy anymore. He's
dirtiest
the
player
Nature
in the
Grandpa.
game. He really is.
Dirtiest
But
player in the diaper.
I really hope that like AEW, they could, utilize him and actually, take advantage of this, even though my hopes for this is not that high. AEW should continue to be focusing on establishing their own stars instead
Khan
of,
should be ashamed
it's
of
supposed to be
himself.
all elite wrestling, but pretty soon it's going to be all elderly
legends.
wrestling.
Yes,
at this
yes.
point.
Exactly. AEW. Still
I'm not
all
happy
elderly
about that
wrestling.
because this is going all the way back, like right with some of these moves that they're making, like bringing in like Ric Flair. This is reminding me of 2010 TNA, and that is fucking scary. But guys, up next, we have the Getting Put Over segment, and of course, our two main event topics. We'll be right back with more We Are Wrestling Podcast 81. Woo! Woo!
Hey, this is Flip Gordon. You're listening to the We Are Wrestling Podcast. Let's flip and go!
Collecting has always had a special place in my heart, going all the way back to when I was a kid. I remember my parents taking me to Toys R Us and waking up on Christmas morning to a bunch of new action figures. I had bins filled with thousands of rare WWE, WCW, ECW, and TNA figures through the years until, unfortunately, I ended up selling my whole childhood without knowing the true value of my collection. 2 years after I made that horrible decision, the pandemic hit, and I realized there was a part of me that felt missing, and that was collecting. My whole life, I've loved collecting wrestling figures, wrestling memorabilia, classic video games, Nickelodeon stuff, sneakers, Funko Pops, and even Angry Birds. As time went by, I decided I wanted to get back into collecting, except this time, document it and rebuild my collection over on Best One Donnie. So, if you want to go back into time and relive my nostalgic memories, subscribe now. We're back, and we have this new thing we do every week on the We Are Wrestling Podcast called the Getting Put Over segment, where once a week, Ben and I, we alternate and we pick a superstar, past, current, or future, and we put them over. Last week, I had the opportunity to put over the Monster Abyss. And this week, Ben, who are we putting over?
We're putting over the King of Kings, the game, Triple H himself, y'all. Paul Levesque. Paul Triple H Levesque.
Honestly, I gotta say this. I'm very excited to, put over Triple H. He is, the King of Kings. He is one of, the best, heels in the business. One of the best, baby faces in the business. And just overall, one of, the
best to ever do it.
Seriously.
100%. Triple H, man. Where do we start? I want to start with his in-ring ability and some of like the spins he's put on some classic moves because everybody's so individual with how they do them. One of my favorite moves that Triple H has ever done, and it's one of the many in his arsenal that he used on the regular, his version of the Spine Buster was fucking incredible. I liked Batista's little pickup drop, and then he just stands back up right after like the drop, and he just hopped up. But Triple H, man, he put that shit down like a hammer. He picked him up, swung him, and fucking knocked him. Like
he
it was
did like
fucking,
a 180 when he would do the spine.
It was like a 180 Alabama Slam Spine Buster. It was fucking beautiful. It was a thing of beauty. Another thing, his flying knee, fucking A1, dude. Like his style was just so fucking unique, and there's nobody that moved the same way that Triple H did, man. And
I do want to add something to what you're saying too.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I totally see what you're saying here, because I feel like Triple H was one of those, guys that really changed the pace in the business, because at the time, back in like the 80s and like the early 90s, it was a very slow paced. And Triple H obviously, came into the scene around like 95, 96 as, Hunter Hearst Helmsley. That was, his first, character, very old school. But he really started, he was one of those guys that brought that perfect pace to pro wrestling. And I feel like nowadays in 2023, it's a little bit too fast. I feel like we need to go back, like to Ruthless Aggression and Attitude Era. I feel like they had the best, paced. Because that's one thing a lot of legends, try to say to a lot of these new guys is timing, is everything. And when you're selling a move, you need to just take a deep breath.
Yeah, and just fucking run with it, man. Like you can't hesitate when it comes to executing a move. 100%. Like, and it takes two to tango, as you know, in pro wrestling. It takes the person that's performing the move to make it look good, but also the person selling it. And everybody went to work for Triple H.
Was one of the best when it came to, really taking their time and really, like feeling the moment. And that's why like every Triple H storyline was so fantastic, because he really, brought you in to the storyline, whether he
made you feel like you were a part of it. Yep.
Exactly.
He made you a part of the whole fucking thing.
And then the matches that he would have would be cinematic, because it was all storytelling. And that's my favorite type of, wrestlers.
And that's something I love about Triple H and, what he's doing obviously now today, which is the chief content creative officer of WWE. And he's number one, like he has the final say. He's ahead of creative. He's ahead of the writer's room. Like he's very involved in everything that he does. His producing is top notch. And what I love is that even though he is not an on-screen character anymore, and you see him very seldomly now, I love that you can still feel his presence in everything that goes on. Like, I feel like sometimes I'm watching Triple H matches through fucking Seth Rollins. Sometimes I feel like I'm watching Triple H matches through, I
see it a lot with Kevin Owens.
Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is another one. Like you still feel it. There's an atmosphere there, and it's incredible that he can still make that shit radiate without even having to be on screen. And that his experience, his storytelling abilities, and just his creative ideas and his creative mind, this is some of the best shit we've ever gotten. And I'm like really excited in this next chapter on where we're going as to who he is, all of these matches that have been getting produced now, especially in the bigger ones.
Before we get into Triple H matches, I'm
not getting into matches.
Oh, okay.
I was just saying that, like, even in some of these matches, you can feel that essence. Like, you could see him in this match, and that's what's so unique, is what you can pull apart those matches and what Triple H has personally had his hands on, and you can feel it in there. And I think that's something that is a once in a lifetime thing because there's not many superstars out there that can still make you feel their presence even when they're gone.
Absolutely. And, my thoughts on Triple H, man, when it comes to the presentation, he was always somebody who really, there's a lot of people who understand the business,
Yes.
but Triple H really
He lives it.
understands the business. And, the whole entrance, the presentation, fantastic. And one of my favorite things that Triple H always did was the water. Spit in the water,
Unique.
on the ring in front of the hard cam. That was my
Mhm.
favorite thing Triple H has ever done.
You knew it was fucking go time, bro. You knew that this fucking match about to be brutal.
And then you would have
as fuck.
Motorhead. It's time to play the game.
Hell yeah, dude. One of the best fucking 2 theme songs that anybody could ever have that is super building. 100%,
Seriously.
dude.
And with, Triple H, he's had a lot of incredible matches. Where do we begin?
One of my favorites that still rings to this day, man, because I still watch it sometimes to this day. WrestleMania 22 against John Cena for the fucking WWE Championship. One of the best matches I've seen him in, period. It was fucking phenomenal. Another one, Batista at WrestleMania 21.
Yep,
WrestleMania
that was 21. That was one of my
fucking favorites. Another one, him and Orton. Fucking for the World Heavyweight Championship. Phenomenal, dude.
Are we talking 2004?
2004.
Or are we talking
2004.
2009 with
2004
WWE
2004 during Orton's rise to the top, right before he started the program with The Undertaker. I think that those really still ring with me and really ring true. His performance in the 2002 Royal Rumble where he won, phenomenal.
Got such a huge return.
And his fucking shoulders were juiced the fuck up. My God. My God.
Let's not talk about that, man. We're putting people over.
I'm still putting him over like he was putting them over the top rope back in 02.
But we're not going to put that over.
That's not good shit.
That's not good shit in 2023.
Nope.
But when it comes to, some Triple H matches that really stand out to me, he was in every era of wrestling. And we got into wrestling, man, when Triple H, was just getting big in the business, getting put over.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I really enjoyed, let's see, I have a few of them. I'm just going to name them because there's so many. I really loved his match with Owen Hart at WrestleMania 14.
Okay, I have seen that one. I have.
I also enjoyed his matches with Mick Foley. I did love that Royal Rumble, and I believe it was No Way Out. They did the Hell in the Cell.
Yes.
I really enjoyed both of those matches because I think that really brought the aggression in Triple H, because at the time he was doing a lot of DX stuff in the Attitude Era. So him going against Mick Foley, that turned him into a main event player. Then, we get into Ruthless Aggression, his World Heavyweight title run, him and JBL. I fucking hated them as kids, but they did their job, and I will shake Triple H's hand and say, dude, I hated you as a kid, but I love you.
Man, Triple H is so unique to the point, and I feel like I could probably end my simping for Triple H here. He is one of the only superstars in the history of the business that once he got over, he stayed over, and he didn't have to do a damn thing to stay over. He was always on top, no matter what. And it had nothing to do with him and Stephanie being together. The dude just had natural charisma radiating off of him. And every time that he was on screen, it was compelling, whether if it was a fucking segment, whether if he was just spitting on the mic, whether he was in the ring. It didn't matter. If Triple H was on, the whole place was electrified. Whether it was boos, cheers, he always had you in the palm of his hands. And that is something that a lot of people cannot do.
I do agree. And with Ruthless Aggression, obviously, I really enjoyed, the matches with Batista, John Cena at WrestleMania.
The best of his work.
Also, Shawn Michaels and him in the Ruthless Aggression era. I love the Stages of Hell. I'm talking about the rivalry. Even though I did love the DX in 2006.
I know what you were talking about.
Loved his, feud with Shawn Michaels. Fantastic.
Every time Triple H is brought up, that's my first thought. Above everything that Triple H has ever done, it is sad that is the first thing that rings in my head, just because I remember laughing my ass off when that shit happened, and it just rings with me to this day. So,
and then also current, with Triple H, in the 2010s, I also, enjoyed a lot of his, matches as well during, that era as well.
Hell
I
yeah.
really did like, him and Randy Orton's later feud. I thought that,
Mhm.
that was really cool.
When they
Him and Seth
rehashed it.
Rollins, that's a feud I really enjoyed in the modern era because
Yes.
Seth Rollins, was, his guy in the Authority. And when Seth Rollins came back, Triple H screwed him and
Mhm.
helped Kevin Owens win the Universal Championship. And
Yep.
then, we had Seth Rollins take over NXT, and it was just great shit.
Yeah, man.
I love the feud with Triple H and him. But
Absolutely.
now, when it comes to Triple H, there's so many different eras of the King of Kings. We had, Hunter Hearst Helmsley. We had, My Time. We also had DX Triple H. We had the Authority Triple H. And we even had, like, the Regal Assassin. So when it comes to Triple H, Ben, which one is your favorite
My
that you
favorite
put over the top?
that I would put over the top. I honestly love Cerebral Assassin Triple H. I really did. I feel like that there was something different there. There was a lot more like, I wouldn't say carelessness, but I guess you could say carelessness because the dude was just so fluid, like after he got injured in 06 at New Year's Revolution and he came back at fucking SummerSlam that following year. I think that it was phenomenal. That return I looked forward to because the dude, he was on the road constantly. He didn't get to hit the gym nearly as much. So he kind of got out of shape. But when he came back in 07 and got rid of the handlebar
mustache time,
yeah, when
right?
they got fucking rid of the handlebar mustache and he came back at fucking SummerSlam 07, the same night Rey Mysterio came back from his fucking injury.
That was a great way to build that pay-per-view too, by the way.
Bruh, centered around Triple H and fucking Rey Mysterio. And you saw the smile on Triple H's face when he fucking put his head up right when they were announcing the Triple H. And he was just like fucking, before he even got to the ring, the dude was just smirking. He was so fucking happy to be there. And he was in phenomenal shape. Phenomenal. And he was moving incredibly. And the fact that he fucking fucked up his knee by a botched spine buster. That's what it was.
Yeah.
And he landed wrong and limped out of the fucking arena.
Yep, that was New Year's Revolution, right? In 2007. Or
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
Yep, 2007.
Yeah, it was 07 because 06 is when Edge cashed in on fucking Cena.
Yep.
Yeah, it was 07.
I do
Sorry, my
remember it
bad.
was against Rated RKO.
Yes.
But now, getting into my favorite Triple H, even though I hated him as a kid during this era, it's got to be Evolution Triple H.
Oh,
I
yeah,
love
meanest.
that whole faction. It all made perfect sense. We had a
Dude was just a
perfect
scumbag.
end story. And, we even talked about Ric Flair on the last one, but we're not going to talk about him as much in this one.
No.
But Ric Flair did do a lot for Triple H around this time.
Oh, he put him over.
Ruthless Aggression, Vince McMahon wanted, these superstars to grab the brass ring. And one of the guys that already had the brass ring in his hands was Triple H. So it really worked. And we actually got a lot of really cool matchups like him and Goldberg, him and Kevin Nash, him and Scott Steiner, Booker T. And like he went on like this dominant, title run. Even Chris Benoit. I can't even, forget him. They had some great matches as well. Shawn Michaels. And then Batista being the one to, get that WrestleMania moment. It was a perfect ending to, the Evolution thing. And I just love that run of Triple H because I felt like he was just on top of the world at that time.
Absolutely. I agree.
So now, with Triple H, the last thing I do got to say in this getting put over segment, one thing I really love that he did, and I feel like it doesn't get talked about much, Tough Enough. I believe it was season 1.
Yeah.
And like all the, Tough Enough guys are training, and then Triple H gets in the ring and he cuts that passionate promo.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of my favorite highlights of Triple H as well.
Bet.
But honestly, this was really cool talking about, Triple H and, putting him over, one of, the greatest of all time, easily first class Hall of Famer. So, yeah, this week, man, we put over Triple H. And next week, I get to pick, the next superstar that we're going to be putting over. And I don't think I'm going to be giving any hints for next week because it's still up in the air. But
at least not for you guys.
Let's dive into the main event topic for the We Are Wrestling Podcast 81. And we did have 2 main event topics, but I decided, since, we do have, Crown Jewel coming up, this can't be a long episode of the podcast because I do have to I have to teleport myself from this chair to Rhode Island, and Ben has to teleport himself to, his couch and watch, Crown Jewel.
Hell yeah.
We have one main event topic this week. We're going to talk about the whole Tony Khan AEW stuff, maybe in an extra or something next week.
Okay.
Roman Reigns. He's been getting a lot of criticism for, his part-time schedule and holding the championship. And there's reports that he will not be at Survivor Series or any of the premier live events until the Royal Rumble. After his, match later on tonight on Crown Jewel against LA Knight. What's your thoughts on Reigns missing more PLEs?
Just take the fucking title off of him. Jesus Christ. He's not fucking drawing any more numbers. It's been stagnant. Like, the dude is not a fucking draw. He's really not. A lot of people are like, oh, Roman Reigns, he's the fucking title. He's definitely the main event of the shit. No, the fuck he's not, dude. I can name 5 people right now at the top of my head that are bigger than him. I'm sorry, but it's true.
I do want to say something. You're not wrong, because I believe this week we also got like the merchandise, sales, and like every month they usually do this. And
his are
Roman Reigns used to be number 1.
Now it's like
he
LA
is now
Knight,
number
right?
6.
And now it's LA Knight that's number 1 or some shit, right?
Yep. LA Knight.
Exactly.
I think Cody Rhodes is above him. John Cena's above him.
That's what I'm fucking saying, dude.
Rollins
Like, he's becoming a has-been. He's becoming everything that Brock Lesnar was. And that's why, like, if the fact that we were seeing Brock Lesnar more at one point than Roman Reigns is a fucking problem. I'm sorry, but that right there shows, like, where we're at. I hate this fucking title run so much. I'm starting to hate Roman Reigns as a person, not even just a wrestler, as a fucking person, because I just can't stand his fucking face anymore. And the fact that he is literally the face of the company, but yet he's not here. He ain't fucking John Cena. We can't see him? Nah. This is fucking Roman Reigns. We're supposed to be seeing the fucking face of the company. He is literally an even worse half-ass, non-defending ass, can't win a match clean ass champion. It's bullshit. The storyline is getting dry. I don't give a fuck about the bloodline anymore. All I care about is who could potentially beat him. At this point, it's like, I'm just waiting for the motherfucker to just take it off. If WWE was smart,
I stopped giving a fuck about it.
2 years ago, like I did.
No. For me, when? I really stopped giving a fuck about it after the Jey Uso match with Roman. And then the whole Jimmy thing. Like, the Jimmy thing, I'm sorry to say this, it's fucking dog shit. And I'm going to be the one to say it. It's dog shit.
If WWE was smart, they would just fucking have LA
literally
Knight win
super kick. He super kicks Roman Reigns. Literally gets. He
almost had him
over.
He was about to have it.
SummerSlam, I understand him turning on Jay, but then having him, go back doing a 360 back to the bloodline doesn't make any fucking sense.
What should have happened was Jay should have won. Jimmy should have came out to celebrate with him and then kicked him in the fucking jaw. That's what should have happened if you wanted him to fucking feud. That's what should have happened. And no bloodline.
He still could have screwed him. And then, but you could have had Jimmy be the one to go after Roman Reigns next so that he doesn't lose his credibility.
Yeah, so
that's the biggest issue here. And I'm gonna say
the biggest issue here is the fact that he still has that fucking title and he's nowhere to be found 24/7.
Totally agree with you. And that's the thing I do got to say about this. I think Roman Reigns' run has been fantastic. Since 2020, coming back with this whole new attitude.
No, the fuck it hasn't.
No, hold on, Ben.
The first year was good. The first year was good.
Hold on a minute. Let me, give my thoughts here real quick before we close this week's episode off.
Go ahead.
When it comes to Roman Reigns, this run has been incredible for him. But the problem is this stupid part-time thing he's doing. But the biggest problem of them all is that he's holding a championship that he's not defending consistently. That's the biggest issue we have here. And they're pretty much, dragging like the whole Jimmy Uso thing, and they're continuing to drag the whole bloodline thing when it should have been over at WrestleMania or SummerSlam with Jey Uso.
Yep. So
I think LA Knight needs to win this match.
I think he does too.
Somebody needs to get the championship. Like, even if Roman retains, Damian Priest, please cash in.
So I'm going to lay the smacketh down on you right now real quick and tell you 100% with certainty, his entire run is dog shit. This has not been a fantastic run at all.
Way better than that other shit he was doing.
Sure, for the first year. But after that, nah. And it wasn't even that great. The first year, cool. He had great opponents that made him look good? Yes. But to say that it is fantastic, no. What made his run so fantastic was the bloodline, not Roman Reigns.
Okay, I'll give you that
Not Roman Reigns.
I will give you that.
Majority of his title run was basically his posse taking care of everything while he was sitting at home on the fucking couch. I'm sorry, but no. His title reign has sucked dick for 2 out of the 3 years.
All right, you got me, honestly, because
the bloodline is what made Roman Roman.
It's the bloodline. Exactly. Sami Zayn, all of them in that group.
People are very confused and are completely buying into this charade that he's in the greatest fucking title reign of his life. No, you are confused as fuck because Roman has barely defended the fucking thing, and notice that he has not ever done it by himself. He still needs help, just like he needed help with John Cena with his fucking promos. He can't stand on his own 2 feet. Take Paul Heyman away. Take the fucking bloodline away. Take Solo away. See how fucking popular Roman Reigns is. Bullshit. He would sink. He would fold under pressure, and he would be fucking irrelevant without anybody else with him. He cannot stand on his 2 feet, and he never will.
Yeah, and the problem is the reason why he's so over as well, because all those years, Vince McMahon tried shoving him as the face of WWE. And that's like the point I was trying to make about 2020 with, the heel Roman. It's not the same Roman that they're trying to shove in our faces. They actually took a different approach. They took a different, route. But my issue with Roman is not him being on TV. It's him holding that championship and not defending it. That's the biggest problem I have here with him right now.
He only defends it at premium
live events. And this is the problem now. Okay, it's one thing that you miss like a backlash or you miss like a payback or something.
But what are the big 5?
Survivor Series?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. It's bullshit.
I was pitching WWE to do a fatal 4-way match for Roman's title. Roman Reigns versus Jimmy versus Jay versus Solo months ago, before, the whole Jimmy turned on Jay thing and this and that.
And Solo's still sucking on Roman's schlong.
I don't know, man. Like, it's time Roman Reigns, if he doesn't want to be on TV consistently defending that championship,
then give up the fucking title to somebody that deserves it.
Give it to somebody that fucking deserves it, who's on the road 300 days a year, going to the live events, doing all the media, going to the shows consistently. That's who deserves the championship. But to all the We Are Wrestling Maniacs out there, let us know in the comment section below your thoughts on everything we talked about this week. Remember, Ben will be going live in just a few hours if you're watching this, in the premiere for WWE Crown Jewel. I'll be at Rhode Island Comic-Con. If you're there, say what's up to me. But if you're listening to this podcast, give us a 5-star review, not just any review, a best one review, and download the episode. But if you enjoyed this week's episode of the podcast, make sure to smash that like button now. If you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already, we're 100 subs away from 5K. Subscribe now, turn on the post notifications. The link's down in the description below. You can go follow Ben and I over on our social medias and other YouTube channels. Ben's doing music reactions, I'm doing toy hunts, all the links down below. And go follow We Are Wrestling over on social media as well. We're posting wrestling news over there, exclusive clips, lots of awesome stuff over there, so give us a follow. And if you haven't checked out, the Alex Hammerstone hot takes, go check that out, or the Crown Jewel predictions, go check that out. But I don't know if the show is going to be a couple minutes from now, so you definitely want to probably go watch that like now. Yeah. But to all the We Are Wrestling Maniacs out there worldwide, we are taking over. Peace.